Once upon a time, in the ancient era, in a far-off area, a young man named Zahid was living in the same house with his father, Nasir. Their livelihood depended on a small shop where they worked hard all day. There were only the two of them in the house, and, apart from each other, they had no one else for support. At night, when they sat at home, Nasir would often advise his son, "Son, death has no fixed time. If I leave this world, remember that you are not alone. Allah is always with you. Run the business by trusting in Allah, because the shop is merely a means. The real secret is in Allah's pleasure. Always adopt honesty and truth, even if you have to give away all your goods as its price. And deal gently with people, because Allah will support you when no one else will be seen to help you." Hearing his father's words, Zahid, worried, said, "Father, may Allah never allow you to leave me. If you are not here, what will I do?" Nasir placed a hand of affection on his son's head and, smiling, said, "Son, that is exactly what I am saying. My departure is certain, but you will never feel alone if you trust in Allah. He is your guardian, and if you believe in him, you will never fail."
Hearing his father's advice, a question arose in Zahid's heart. If I work hard, adopt honesty, and treat people gently, then what is the meaning of trusting in Allah? After all, everything happens through my own actions. Thinking this, he would often ignore his father's words. But Zahid did not know that Allah was going to show him such a sight that would change his life forever. Now Zahid's life too seemed to be laughing at him, and time kept passing. Then the day came that Nasir would always talk about. He passed away from this world. Now, in reality, Zahid had no one except Allah. When he went to the shop, everything reminded him of his father. When he returned home, loneliness was waiting for him. Now, only he remained within the four walls, and his father's words echoed in his heart, words he had never taken seriously. Life without a father was difficult, but somehow it was passing. Zahid kept himself busy with work, but the feeling of loneliness never ended. After some time, he had to go to another city to buy goods for the shop, where goods could be bought at a lower price and a good profit could be earned. This was the first time he was going so far without his father, but the necessity of business made him gather courage. He did not know that this journey would shake his mind and stir his thoughts. Riding on his horse and relying on hope, he set out towards the city. The road was long and unfamiliar, but he was hopeful that he would reach his destination. But when the sun began to lean towards the west, his hope began to waver. Evening fell, darkness spread, and fatigue took over Zahid. The problem was that the food and water he had brought with him had finished in the dry desert. Now thirst and hunger had weakened his body, but more than that, fear and dread surrounded him. This was the moment when Allah was about to show his power. In the silence of the night, frightening sounds were coming from a dense forest far away, as if some wild beast was lying in wait. The horse had also become restless, its steps faltering as if it too sensed the danger. Zahid looked around, but there was merciless darkness everywhere. He comforted himself. Just a little longer, maybe ahead there will be a safe place. But reality was going to be far more terrifying than his imagination. After some more travel, Zahid's hunger and thirst became severe. Now he was confused and worried, thinking, perhaps my death is written here. The place was not right, and there was no way to get water or food. Hunger could somehow be tolerated, but thirst made him restless. He urged the horse to run faster, but after some distance, the horse stopped. It was impossible to travel in the dark. Overcome by fear and thirst, Zahid lay on the ground, but due to extreme thirst, sleep was far from his eyes. Lying there, he remembered his father's words, "Son, trust in Allah. He will meet you where no one else will." Thinking this, words of prayer came to his lips. "O Allah, if my father's words were true, then in this desert open for me some way for water and food. You know how hungry and thirsty I am." After the prayer, he lay there. Some time passed, and suddenly the horse stood up in fear and began to run in terror. When Zahid saw this, he said angrily, "Now what trouble is this?" But if the horse ran away, he would be left completely alone, so he quickly ran after it. After some distance, the horse suddenly stopped, and Zahid quickly caught hold of it. But now another problem arose. In the dark, he had lost his way. Helplessly, he decided to keep moving forward slowly. After only a few steps, he saw a faint light shining in the distance. Hope arose in his heart. Let me go there and spend the night. In old times, travelers were taken great care of. Good arrangements for sleeping and eating were made. Thinking this, he followed the light. When he came close, he stopped in amazement. It was a whole settlement with countless houses inhabited. His heart found peace, thinking he would surely find shelter in one of the houses. He got off the horse, and when he came near, he saw that the house was locked. Surprised, he went to a second, then a third house, but all the doors were closed. Seeing this, Zahid was astonished. How is it possible that all the houses in the whole village are deserted and empty? Fear began to settle in his heart, but gathering courage, he moved towards the source of light. The light was coming from one house. He knocked on the door, and from inside came a heavy voice. "Who is it? What are you doing here at this hour of the night?" Zahid replied, "I am a traveler. I have come from Damascus. I have lost my way, and I seek shelter for the night." After a few moments, the door opened, and the voice from inside said, "Come in." Zahid tied up his horse and entered. He stopped in surprise. In front of him, a disabled man was lying on the ground, both his legs missing. Zahid sat nearby, and the man smiled and said, "Traveler, where are you coming from, and where are you going?" Zahid told his whole story, and now he was thinking about this strange settlement and the disabled man. Then Zahid said impatiently, "Brother, I am extremely thirsty. Please give me some water. I am also faint from hunger." The disabled man calmly replied, "Brother, there is no water here. You will have to go there where in the desert a light is visible in the distance. Only there will you get water. And as for food, Allah Himself will arrange it." Hearing this, Zahid felt strange, but forced by thirst and hunger, he set off. With heavy steps, he moved toward the light. When he reached close, he saw that it was an old hut, and inside, someone was slowly speaking, as if talking to himself. Seeing this, fear rose in Zahid's heart, and he said, "Now what kind of creature is this?" Gathering courage, he called out at the hut's door. From inside came a voice. "Yes, speak. I am sure you need water." Zahid was astonished, but immediately said, Yes, I need water." The voice from inside said, "Then come inside." Gathering all his courage and with fear, he entered.
When he saw, he breathed a sigh of relief. In front of him, an elderly man was praying. At least this was neither a jinn nor a demon, this much he was sure of. The elderly man said gently, "Son, when a person's trust in Allah becomes weak, only then does he lose his way." Then, pointing, he said, "There is a water pot there. Take it and go." Zahid picked up the pot and set off, but the old man's words kept echoing in his heart. How did this man know that my trust in Allah is weak? This thought made him restless, but he walked silently. On the way, he thought, why don't I drink the water here itself, so that the intensity of thirst will be less? But then another thought came. The disabled man must also be thirsty. Just a little distance is left. I will go there and we will both drink together. Thinking this, he began walking quickly. But as soon as he reached near the house, in the dark, he bumped into the door, stumbled, and fell to the ground. Along with him, the pot also broke, and all the water spilled away. Seeing this, Zahid became extremely angry, but controlled himself, cursing himself in his heart. He went inside. The disabled man asked gently, "Did you not get water?" Zahid replied in an irritated tone, "No, I dropped the pot." Then, in a tired voice, he said, "Brother, I do not have the strength for more talk now. If you have water, just give me enough so that I can breathe. Whatever happens after that, we will see." The disabled man raised his hands towards the sky and prayed, "O Allah, if this man is truly hungry and thirsty, then help me so that I may help this traveler." Zahid became angry, but remained silent in his mind, thinking, "Now look at this foolish man. How is it possible that in this deserted place someone will come to help us?" A few moments later, there was a knock at the door. Zahid was startled. Who could this be? The disabled man smiled and said, "Whoever it is, he must have brought water and food for you." Hearing this, Zahid was astonished. Why is this man speaking like this? He opened the door, and there stood the same elderly man. Smiling, he said, "You could not even handle one pot. Here, take this water and food. And yes, I have also kept water for your horse. You are only thinking about yourself. But you should also care for the animal." Zahid was amazed. These two were talking as if they knew everything, but hunger and thirst gave no chance to think. He quickly drank the water and attacked the food. When he was full, questions began to rise in his mind. He went near the disabled man and said, "Brother, I want to ask you something, if you don't mind." The disabled man said gently, "Not now. First give me some water. I am very thirsty." Zahid quickly gave him water and himself also lay down tired, thinking, "Who are these people who speak in such strange ways?" Zahid fell asleep from the intensity of sleep. When morning came, he saw that the disabled man was engaged in prayer. He quietly sat in his place. When the prayer ended, he spoke again. "Brother, now please answer my questions." The disabled man smiled and said, "You are strange. Allah gave you a new life, arranged food and drink, but you neither prayed at night nor in the morning." Hearing this, Zahid felt ashamed. He immediately performed ablution and prayed. Then he placed his goods on the horse and prepared to leave. The disabled man called out, "Ask whatever you want to ask." Zahid asked with surprise, "Why is this settlement empty?" The disabled man replied, "In the rains, water fills this place, so people temporarily go to the upper areas." "Then why did you stay?" Zahid asked. The disabled man said, "I cannot go, and I do not want to leave this place for worship." Then Zahid said, "And who is that elderly man?" "He is a righteous servant of Allah. He spends the whole night in worship and helps the poor." Zahid asked his last question, "How were you so sure that food would come?" The disabled man laughed. "If you do not ask from the master, then from whom? For you. It was the first night here. I have been here for a year, and every time Allah arranges for me. Not a single day has Allah left me hungry. Only last night, because of you, I got food late." Then he said, "Trust in Allah. When you called out to Allah in the desert, the horse became afraid. That was not trouble, it was mercy dash. Where you were going to spend the night, no one comes out alive from there. Allah saved you. He is the one who makes paths, whether in the desert or anywhere else." On the way back, he remembered his father's words, who used to say, "Allah alone sees and solves difficulties. Allah is found by those who trust in Him, where no one else is found." After this incident, Zahid's faith became even stronger, and he began to do every work by trusting in Allah. This story teaches us that if we have complete trust in Allah, we will never be disappointed. Our thinking is limited, but Allah's decisions are flawless and full of wisdom. Every trial is either expiation for our sins or a test, or a means of guidance. Therefore, be patient over it. Allah is the one who hears and sees. If you like this story, then subscribe to our channel Old Moral Tales and press the bell icon, and do not forget to like and share the video. Thank you for your support.